Oh, hey. Welcome back to Terp Talk, a show with heady questions and even headier dabs. It's a show where we interview the cannabis community and take progressively bigger dabs. And today, we would like to welcome John from Higher Ground Canna.
Thanks, Bill. It's great. Pleasure to be here.
Fuck yeah.
It's been a wonderful time already.
Hell yeah. I'm glad you came a little early so we could rap a little.
Yeah, absolutely. Helps to connect.
Thank you, sir.
You know?
Fuck yeah.
Make this thing work.
Yeah, you have a lot of good stories already. I was trying to be like, save it for the stream, but I was like, it's okay. They just start flowing through you. I can feel it.
Yeah, there's a lot to tell, honestly. You know, it's like, it's hard to put it into words sometimes. You know, I really heavily into the idea that I'm going to write a book. Maybe more than one, because it's been I've been in this game over 30 years. You know, came to Cali in the first wave of after Prop 215. But I think more than anything, what I'm really feeling is that like there's a lot to tell in the sense that I'm someone who's been an active spectator to the way that the movement has unfolded in the political sense first, because I was an activist first, right?
100. Which
is what led me here. And so I'm someone who's just always paid close attention to the law, how that's unfolded, the politics surrounding the law, and it's just a lot to tell and a lot that's being lost, with each passing generation.
Totally.
That the world needs to know about. There's I think the biggest one is, not to get political, I guess, but, Gavin Newsom, is someone who really has a part in this whole story that needs to be told as well.
Totally.
Know? And, it's the reason why, the barriers to entry are so high and more than 90% of our community has been shut out, has everything to do with him. And, what I didn't know when he was touring Northern California, sweet talking us at town hall meetings and the voting for this thing, was that the man is part of 4 different wine labels. So if you think about what's the number one industry, agricultural product in California?
Probably wine.
Who has the most influence?
Yeah.
Who wrote Prop 64, basically?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like things like that.
Yeah.
The way that he, basically, said, come on through the door. And then when we came through the door, he stuck his leg out and tripped us all. So we fell flat on our face.
Yeah, that is kind of seemed to be the vibe.
And so for this guy to be potentially running for president and for him to be trying to sweep the devastation that's been left behind by Prop 64 to paint himself up to look good, I think is it's just part of the story.
Totally.
And so, there's just a whole lot, and there's a whole lot of that went on, including the politics around Mendocino County, the politics around SB 420 and the way the whole dispensary system worked out. And so anyway, I'll go on and on and on, but that's just the political side. So I feel like that needs a whole book, you know what I mean? And like the socio-political side, but also what I call the global solventless movement, which is a very real entity. It's something that's those of us who were there to watch it, come to life. I think most of us knew, that this thing is much bigger than us. This is a truth. It's a movement. I think that where cannabis, really will earn its rightful place as a global commodity.
It's getting there.
Not just in the sense of hemp and everything that can do, but specifically this niche.
Yeah.
Where I feel like, this, even more than flowers on some level, really has the potential to, access this whole other level.
Oh, yeah.
That's only, really what I say is if wine can do it or craft beer can do it, cannabis will eventually do it.
I'm the same way. We're trying to get it to be treated the same way.
And it's people like yourself and the true aficionados of the game that are out there pushing the game and treating it like it's, like it's jewelry.
Like it's wine that we keep in a special freezer or fridge.
Precisely, and
it's like a fine vintage we'll bust out for a special occasion.
and how that will unfold over time. You know, the way the curing, the all of the knowledge that's evolving right now,
and all the art around it too.
Yeah, all of it. Yeah, no doubt.
Speaking of which, start heating up for our first official dab.
Let's do that.
Oh my God, Toast. That looks like some crazy situation. That's what we just smoked and we're about to smoke more of, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
This is the closest I get to smoking flower, everyone. Flower to me is like pre-run. And this is got a little bit of plant matter still left in it and gets me close to that earth, you know, like magicalness.
Yeah.
Like I just like to stay away from combustion and fire and like carcinogens and all that. I like to the biggest dabs possible at the lowest times possible. That's like my favorite game.
Yeah, no, I can see why.
Yeah,
definitely. It's so much easier on the lungs.
Especially when you have this good of material. It's like when you smoke stuff like this, smoking flower tastes like ash to me. Just,
you know,
most of the time, to me personally, when you're comparing it to hash rosin.
I could totally see where you're coming from, you know, and honestly, like,
but I'm a little bit of a snob. I get that.
Yeah, no, I went through about 8-9 years of smoking nothing but concentrate, you know, and
that's awesome.
But recently, I'm more of a 90-10 guy, you know, and the reason
90% flower?
No, 90%, 10% flower.
Got it. Love it.
If 10%.
Yeah.
But the reason.
No, tell me.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, I just feel like there's this flowers have this ability to cut in deep in a medicinal way that hash can only do so much of.
It definitely zonks you differently.
And what I mean is this: like recently, I had this really stressful experience, right? And just this guy went crazy on me. It was this whole weird thing, and
oh no!
So basically, what I found when you're really feeling stressed out is that I can take a whole bunch of dabs and they don't quite calm my nervous system the way that a nice or, you know, sun-grown organic joint can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like this it just has, it's useful at times.
Totally.
You know what I mean? For those reasons. This is luxurious.
It really is.
Can't wait to take mine home.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah. No, John's the newest member of the TSV fam.
No more torches.
We love it. He will have the convenience.
So we're pulling from number 1. Correct?
Oh, yes. 0.1 of melt. I'm going to think like 530, 520.
540.
Whoa, he's trying to get a head change over there.
Let's see what happens.
Let's go. Yee. Oh, perfect. Good form. This guy's a professional. Professional grower, professional hasher, and professional smoker. Wow. The hat trick.
That's really nice function on this. I like this a lot.
Yeah, those Toros are fun. Our friend Leo, who works here, just like collects that design. Anytime we get a new one in, she's like, I might need to scoop this bill. Feel you.
That's really nice.
The fun ones.
It's really nicely.
All right. So, this being one of your first appearances on social media, what has it been like coming out of the shadows?
Well, so far it's been wonderful.
Nice.
Thank you. I have to thank you and Bill and Lucas and Tori for the great experience so far. You know, it's been really, really cool to come hang out. And yeah, it's quite a, you know, this is the beginning of a process, you know, for me on a personal level and for my brand and for us as a seed provider, which is the, you know, really what, why I'm here today and what brings me out of the shadows and into the light. Seeds. Right now, you know, it's been the seed market, the seed game. And, you know, that ruling by the DEA last winter really was what I, you know, was a big deal, you know, on many levels, as you can see by the way it's blown up, you know, but yeah, it's been just amazing to have our strains do well for people, you know, and have so many new returning customers and new customers based on those guys. And
hell yeah,
you know, I can honestly say, which, you know, maybe after I say this it'll change, but you know, I get to have somebody come back and say, hey, we didn't like this, you know.
That's because everything you're making for yourself, and you're making it stuff that you would use every day. So you're not putting out something that you wouldn't put your name behind.
Well, and you just laid out the crux of what I'm all about, what my dispensary was all about, what this brand is all about.
My gallery is the same vibe.
Yeah,
I would never sell a pipe that I wouldn't smoke out of every day.
Exactly, you know, and I'm a cannabis aficionado first and foremost. You know, a professional second.
Love it. Love it.
You know, the money aspect and the business aspect was all, you know, has been a happy surprise for someone in my generation, because guys like me, I'm the kind of like the last wave of guys or people that moved to this area for the lifestyle. You know, there was no hope of a career at that point. It was like, okay, we can actually grow our own weed and smoke our own weed and, you know, actually make a decent life, you know.
Not have to look over your shoulder so much.
Well, after SB 420, it was like, okay, now we can take it to dispensaries, and now it's like, wow, we can actually, you know, that was just a dream come true. You know what I mean? And it was this wild ride, because one thing that doesn't get talked about is the fact that we had a truly laissez-faire free market, which is, you know, a self-regulating free market, which is an extremely rare thing
for what
in the Western world. Starting with SB 420, really with Prop 215, from that period until the implementation of Prop 64, it was truly a free market, in the sense that you could, just like your tomatoes, you could grow your tomatoes and go sell them on the roadside. Well, I could get my card, grow my herb, and take it to the dispensary, and you know what I mean. There weren't 288 pages of regulation.
I jumped into that myself a little bit. I remember.
Yeah, you know, yeah. So, you know.
Yeah.
But I think that on some level, we were too close to it. Like, you know what I mean? Because I don't think a lot of us, while we were part of it, I don't think until it was gone, a lot of people kind of were like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Like,
I know exactly what you mean. Like, if we had known it was going to expire, I would have worked like twice as hard.
Don't know what you got till it's gone, you know? And I think we would have played it very differently if we knew that these days were numbered. But we should have known that. We
should have.
We're living in a dream.
It's the truth.
Essentially, you know? So.
All right. So this hash, though, 0.2 is Mango Starburst. Woo!
My personal favorite.
Wow. Percy.
From the 2022 selection.
Favy. Damn. Mango Starburst.
Yeah, man. Together for sure, bro.
Freshest.
Yeah, I'm a huge music head. I don't know if you know that about me. You know,
I've sensed it a little.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love music too. Mm-hmm. It's definitely helps.
I just somehow made it to see the Grateful Dead around in Vegas.
Really?
Got heavily dosed and dropped into that environment, and you know,
nice.
That started my adulthood pretty well.
Fuck yeah.
I got Never Look Back.
That is a good initiation.
You know? Oh yeah, it puts things in perspective very quickly. Yeah,
that's a good way of saying it.
For sure.
Perspective.
You know? But yeah, love the music.
I'm having fun. But you almost ready for this dab?
I think I am.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Temping down. Anybody that wants to dab with us, now's your chance. We're on the 0.2 round.
Dab it up.
We're gonna get our dab rights underneath, but not too close. You should be able to fit a finger in between. That is how you know your dab right's at the right distance. We got a 0.2 of some magical fresh press. I think I'm going to hit it at like 560, 550 range for max flavor.
I like that question. What's my favorite Dead Show memory?
Wow, that's such a great question. And that is our homie Bottega Fruta, who makes these amazing vegan fruit roll-ups.
I know Jack.
Yeah, he's a real one.
Right on, man. Hey, Jack.
I was sessioning with him yesterday, actually. I really like that dude.
Yeah, Jack's
part of the fam.
Love that brother for sure, man. Excuse me while I dig this dab.
Yeah. And then we need to know about that Dead Show memory, though. That's a good question. Oh, perfect tempers on deck. What's going on here?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. See why this is your fave. Holy, what?
It's a legitimate terp. That's the thing about it.
Well said.
It's, you know,
it is a legitimate terp.
I've lusted after mango terps my whole career. And that's the one that God sent and said, This is what you've been waiting for.
This is. Thank you. Damn, that's that mango-ness. Wow.
So now we have 2 questions. So
Let's do it. Start with the Dead Show.
the Dead Show memories.
And hand me over that rig.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.
So many amazing memories. It's honestly, I think one of the things I've always said about the Grateful Dead experience is that it's really hard to put into words when you really go through the tunnel and come out the other side, you know?
Yeah.
When it's really happening, you know? But I'd say the funnest thing of the Dead experience was the community vibe, the camaraderie, the one of the purest expressions of one love that I think that I've ever experienced, you know, back when Jerry was alive. And then even at the end when, you know, it was kind of bursting at the seams, it still had its soul, you know, and, you know, there was still a certain amount to where everybody looked out for each other. There was the good, the bad, and the ugly, of course, you know.
Of course.
They got, you know, there was there were things that were, you know, all over the place, but overall it was just such a magical, positive vibe, you know, and like everybody could go to that show and walk out of there feeling so intensely connected on a level that is really hard to put into words, except like what I tell my mother, you know, is like, it's like we go to this place and like fill up with all this love energy, and then we go back out into the world with it. It's like a congregation of sorts, but, you know, like so much more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, just anyway, I could go on all night.
So what are your thoughts on the new culture of a new hash competition? Seems to be popping up every other week.
I think it's great.
Nice.
I think it's wonderful, you know, because I think that the competitions are drivers of innovation, of a lot of, you know, really pushing the game forward. And I really like the fact that people are exploring all these different approaches, you know, to really trying to find a way that can more accurately, you know, pick the best hash. You know, respect to the way it's been done, and, you know, to really, I mean, Ego Clash really has led the way.
Totally.
No question that they, you know, that event has been part of, you know, an important part of the history.
Without a doubt.
But, you know, I think at the same time, it's, you know, providing a good format to learn from and to sort of take ideas from, and to see that being done across the state, across the entire country, hitting
the world
in Europe and Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
Now we're doing it in Latin America.
Yeah.
I mean, this, you know what I mean?
That's happening in Thailand now too.
Yeah, it's happening so much faster than I think some of us, you know, at least that maybe I expected on some level. But yeah, I think it's great. But at the same time, I think that there's a real problem with one of the primary aspects of cannabis being lost in these competitions altogether.
What do you mean?
Well, you know who Ed Rosenthal is?
Yes.
Right. So ask Ed, High Times Magazine. You know, totally. In the 80s and 90s, Ed was like the preeminent cannabis expert.
So for those of you who don't know Ed Rosenthal, before the internet, when all you had was High Times Magazine as your only source for cannabis news, there was an Ask Ed section. And this is a little bit before my time too, but I, you know, caught the tail end of it. So I learned the history, obviously. Ed
is one of the world's preeminent cannabis experts, you know, and definitely. So I got to have lunch with him not too long ago at the Canna Fest lunch pairing that they did at Roxy's in Hopland.
Nice.
Young Slabby and Chelsea Lubes were kind enough to invite me, and
sick.
And I got to have a seat at the table with Ed, which was really surprised. You know, I was really was a wonderful surprise.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things I talked about with Ed, and, you know, and what he said is, I think, absolutely on point, which is, you know, how it makes you feel.
That's a good point.
The high.
Yeah.
Because that speaks of the medicinal quality. It speaks of the, you know, what, you know, it's everything, because not only it speaks of the medicinal quality, the type of buzz, but also the intangible aspect of the energy of the cultivator, the energy of the season. How, was it ever sprayed? Was it just this incredibly fortunate season that, all that you can taste, what the energy that shoots through your body on a clean palate.
Yeah.
When it's something that's truly special, none of that gets experienced in these competitions, period. Because you take more than 5 dabs and you're not gonna, it becomes impossible.
It's true.
In a single day. And Ed felt it was 5 to 7 in a day as a max.
Yeah.
I think he's probably about right.
Yeah.
But
for the most part, I agree. And I like the capping it at around, 5 to 10 flavors. That way you could do 1 or 2 dabs of each and it wouldn't be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like the fact that people are trying to pay attention to this sort of stuff, not just making it, not just doing what has always been done, but trying new things and trying to dial it in more.
Exactly. That's why I salute everybody that's doing that. And if I had the answer, I'd put forth my competition. I don't know what the exact answer is, but I do know that the only true way to test a hash is to do it on a clean palate.
True.
Period. That's the only way you're truly going to taste it and truly get a feel for exactly how it makes you feel.
Without a doubt.
It's not Jorge Cervantes. Jorge wrote the cannabis, indoor marijuana horticulture, which is one of the most important grow books in the history.
Wow. Dario learned to grow from Ed Rosenthal, I guess it sounds like.
Well, Ed did make the Cannabis Grow Bible. Now that was his book version.
Yeah, but Dario 7 Minute Dabs said he learned to grow weed from him.
Yeah, it's
back in '99.
It's one of the most comprehensive grow guides, but that's a later generation. You guys benefited from all the work that Jorge put in.
Fuck yeah.
As did Ed, because he drew from everyone for that book.
Oh wow! And this next flavor is called Top Banana, and it's got banana vibes. Even the fucking material itself is giving me banana vibes. Wow.
It has a lot of its banana OG mother.
It's a beautiful specimen. It looks like you could eat it, but I wouldn't try. Smoke it for sure.
Right? Yeah.
Look, it's how good it looks.
Oh, there's a picture of it.
Well, his Grow Bible and immensely really love it.
That's right. That's right. And back in the day, when the indoor marijuana horticulture was originally printed, was roughly around the same time that that indoor growing equipment proliferated coming out of the Pacific Northwest into the rest of the country, which then led to everybody starting to grow in their closets.
Wow, because of that book, basically.
Well, but that book was one of the early books and the most that when you lived in zero tolerance land and there was no one there, you couldn't talk about it, much less find someone that could teach you anything.
It's a good point. So you had to learn on your own.
That book was everything.
And it was before the internet too.
That book was everything. But, and it was so valuable because somebody like myself, I just did it because I loved it. And so I literally went through and tried every single medium, every single fertilizer, every single, just to see what they would do. And that had a lot of value to it.
Yeah, you have all that knowledge.
You just, you really... just screwing around, or what felt like screwing around, really ends up now to turn into something very valuable. It's funny.
Yeah, it feels almost like you were training to be a chess master or something with all these little different knowledge things, and now you have the complete knowledge tree. Eventually
working towards mastery, but not really thinking of it that way, But
exactly
until later, you know. There was a point though.
I love that.
Where that changed, for sure.
That's what it made me think of when you describe it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, because, I say this all the time, but all my friends have heard me say this, but it's, back then there was no hope of a career. So it was always, to me, I started traveling to Amsterdam and doing all these things because I wanted to do this at the highest level so that I could smoke it. First.
Yeah, totally.
And share it with all my friends.
Totally.
And then, $6,000 pounds didn't hurt either, but that was later. So it wasn't really the point in the beginning, but eventually it got pretty wild, for sure.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But with good origins and good reasoning behind it.
Yeah. And it's still true to this day.
Fuck yeah.
I don't, I'm a very typical Aquarian.
Let's get it. All right, I think we could be ready. You want to start temping down?
Yeah.
Let's do it. And we are gonna heat up with the TSV and temp down with the dab right. And I just burned myself slightly, but that is what you get sometimes for moving too quick, Bill. Move slow around a Heady glass and hot quartz. Cap. I'm using a Halen Demon. He's using a Halen Cyclone.
530.
Wow, that sounds perfect. Get it. 530 degrees. Cloudy McClouderson. I'm gonna go in at 540 because I am a crazy person. Damn, that is tasty. What the hell? I was not ready for this top of a banana.
So it's yeah, you know, it's that Laffy Taffy banana terp, you know.
Oh, yeah. It's like candy banana.
But cushy in the end. It's like kind of almost coffee. You know, it's like a.
You can really tell.
It's a beautiful piece.
You're going for. I got you. You can really tell you're going for taste and potency. You're not going for like color or like you're not going for superficial things. You're more going for like the things that matter. It feels like to me.
A well-rounded hash.
Well said. That's what I'm trying to say. That is what this is.
Precisely. You know what the difference is? I say this like it's the difference between being able to take one dab of this and then going to work for 4 hours. You know, and being thoroughly satisfied.
Oh, true statement.
Or having to come back and take 4 or 5 dabs to achieve the same thing in the same period of time.
True. The potency and the taste and the overall.
Just the value of that. You know, it's just, you know.
One and done.
It's not for the normies, you know, or, you know.
Yeah.
But it's for true heads.
Yeah, it's for the hash heads.
Yeah.
But we'll appreciate it.
Yeah.
Get yourself some higher grounds in your lungs. All right, question 3. Where do you see the future of hash, both locally and on a bigger picture, as we see global adoption?
The future of hash specifically, I think that's a really good question. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I think we touched on that a little bit earlier. You know, I do think that hash will eventually be a global commodity on the scale of champagne, Cuban cigars, wine, craft beer.
Fuck yeah.
You know, if any of those, whatever any of those products can do, this will eventually do for a multitude of reasons, right? Because the truth is that most of the things I just named are they're one-trick ponies, right? They're not good for much more than, you know, very specific reasons.
It's true. It's true. They are one-trick ponies. And
so alcohol is mostly for celebration and, you know, maybe, you know, for maintenance, depending on how people are. But what I'm saying is that
they don't have a multitude of different applications.
Cannabis is something that people smoke around the clock for a multitude of reasons.
Exactly.
From medicinal to spiritual to, you know, go on, you know, but the point being that it's far healthier than any of those in terms of your long-term health.
Yeah.
You know, and
less negative health risks.
And as you were stating earlier, the more that we refine these products and remove the carcinogens, the more and more that it's just very gentle on the body, you know. Mm-hmm. The tolerance aspect, of course, anybody who doesn't have a tolerance will hear that and say, "What do you mean gentle?" And it's like, well, it's not. This conversation isn't for you guys.
You have to educate for them to understand.
Yeah, not to be rude.
No, I agree with you. For most of the time, they will be like, "But it's so potent." Yeah,
but we're talking about people who understand this plant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and in that respect, you know, it's
100.
Exactly that, you know. So
I love it. Yeah. We have 2 amazing dabs left. Looks like a P4 of the Super Skunk, which really cool story behind that strain. Lots of cool stories behind that strain.
Well, yeah, you know, it's funny, you know.
And we got the Sour Kush after that.
That's
2
right.
more dabs.
So the Super Skunk is interesting because it's a very important foundational strain, most famous in the sour diesel, that we all love.
So true.
You know, one of the most important strains, I think, in the history in many ways. But the Super Skunk is really cool because you can still get these seeds today from Sensi Seed Bank in Amsterdam. Just gave them the plug, I guess. I should ask them for my affiliate marketing fee, right? All right, so
Yes, definitely. But we like helping out good people.
Right. But no, so Super Skunk is really cool because it's like, it really shows how important this strain was, in the sense that it's responsible for the resin quality, the structure, the potency, the quality of the sour diesel. And this version of it is really, I mean, it's amazing to me how dead on it is to exactly what I smelled 20 plus years ago in Amsterdam.
That's fucking great that they can preserve that.
Well, that's what good true breeding is all about.
Hell yeah.
Like guys that are, they're able to hold this kind of stuff down for generations.
That's magical.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. So we're moving on to the P4, which is Super Skunk. It's looking skunky. Yeah. This, you were telling me, is part of where sour diesel comes from, right?
It's the parent, the father, donor of original sour diesel.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fun to check it out.
Definitely. Ooh,
you'll see that every day.
Super Skunk, looking real skunky.
Mm-hmm. So this one was a little late. This was a blend of phenotypes.
Nice.
So it's not just one pheno, it's actually 7 phenos.
Wow.
Out of a 10 seed pack.
Wow.
So it's a really well-rounded expression of that genetic.
Yeah.
And this one in particular, I might have taken it a little earlier. So it's, but it's still really, I mean, it's so loud and so enjoyable at this point.
I'm excited to try it again.
Yeah.
All right. Let's start temping down. You ready for it?
I'm ready.
Cool. Me too. Woo! It did it. It cooked it all clean. TSV power. Let's go, baby.
I love that.
You guys don't even know. I didn't have to sit there with a torch for 5 minutes cleaning it. You all know what I'm talking about too. You sat there for 5 minutes with your torch getting that one little last dot out. I didn't have to do that. We were just hanging out having fun. And that was raging fucking hot, so I'm going to be careful.
It is a game changer.
Woo! Yes. There we go.
Such a huge paradigm shift,
Yeah. It really shines best at the sesh.
Mm-hmm.
You can just tell when you're handing out just hot and ready slurps every minute or two.
Well, and I haven't touched the torch since I got here, and I was telling, thinking this morning how just handling a torch has this level of pressure.
We've become numb to it, but you're right. We should not become numb to it. It is a scary, dangerous situation.
You know what I mean? You drop a torch, or how many times have you accidentally burned yourself or burned something?
Oh wow, I'm getting close. I'm at like 580. I got a lot of material, so I'm gonna go in at like 560.
Yeah, shoot.
Cheers o'clock. Huge dabs with the fam. Higher Grounds and Bill.
That's perfect.
Oh shit, that's a big one.
Terp stoppers are hella professional. I agree. This is.
Oh my god. What? Oh my god, Terp arresters do not give up with these Marias. I'm like, look at this. I'm gonna tell you guys for the people at home. I'm at 313 degrees. Watch.
Wow.
How the fuck am I still eating clouds? And there's like a lot of liquid in there too. It's not even like a little bit left. I mean, not a lot, but there's still like liquid moving. It's not like just the last remnants. Okay.
It's amazing. The retention. I really love it when a piece really holds its temperature evenly throughout your whole dab.
Exactly.
No, because it's when it slopes off so quickly, it's frustrating sometimes.
No, it totally is, because especially when you're spent so much time growing an amazing plant and then washing it and pressing it, and we spent a lot of money on it. We want to get max value out of that dab.
No dab.
Most taste, least waste.
It's true, and even at the temperatures we normally take, we're wasting a lot of that oil.
Totally. And in fact, there's that whole waste it to taste it, which is like what we've always had to believe, because you kind of had to overheat it and go in a little early to get a big dab and waste it. But now with new slurper technology and with TSVs, even heat, you actually can have very little waste and the most amount of taste if you do it right.
Yeah, and you know that really goes a long way when you're paying $150 a jar or more. You know.
Yeah,
for sure.
%.
But, I like that question. Let's see.
Can you share what it was like to run a one-of-a-kind cannabis lounge in the Wild West days of cannabis?
Oh, sure.
All right, back to your dispensary. That was called CCA Hopland.
That's right. The Collective Conscious Apothecary.
Fuck yeah.
It was...
I did not even know that was you, honestly, when I was literally excited to talk to you purely on the flavors. Now I'm like mind explosion because I've heard such lore from that place and so many people. Like Mark from Kalia came on and was telling us about his experiences going in there and how transformative that was for his entire career.
Yeah, you know, it's true. I mean, it was a really special time. It was a wild ride. It was filled with highs and lows. And, but, you know, overall, it was such an important thing that happened because though it was relatively short-lived, we're a little less than 5 years we were open. It was a foundational point for the global solventless movement that we've been talking about. You know, I wouldn't say we were the only spark, but we were definitely one of the epicenters, you know, of the movement. And yeah, it was fun. It was
why was that
challenging? It was scary. It was all those things.
Okay.
You know, like I think, you know, the biggest thing I think had to be like the year we opened, right? Like first week in October, the big headline is Obama administration announces big crackdown on California dispensaries.
Damn.
Right.
The week you open?
No, the year we opened.
Oh, the year.
Yeah. So like October of that year, you know? And so it's already challenging enough trying to operate a business, much less a business in California, on top of it being in this gray area. Mm-hmm. And then now the feds are coming after us. So, you know, it was just really awesome. You know, being kind of preparing the staff and just expecting that they would be kicking in the door on any given day.
Fuck.
You know what I mean? That vibe.
Yeah.
So, you know, anybody who's out there, like, I don't know, respect to everybody, man, but like, it's hard to understand what it's like to know that your freedom is on the line in a major way until that's actually happened to you.
Yeah.
And especially when it's, you know, this plant stands between you and
it's all theoretical.
You know what I mean? Exactly. So, you know, the realities were pretty intense at times.
Yeah.
You know, but overall, like, yeah, it was an important time and I'm really glad we did it.
And I want to know more of how it was helping spark the solventless revolution.
So basically, you know, here's the case. It's like it started with the dab bar, right?
Love that.
The dab bar that we opened was completely renegade. There was no permission from anyone. Because we didn't ask for it.
Yeah.
And there was no one to give it. So
what prompted you to just open it?
Basically the fact that patients were continually coming in talking about how they were looking forward to smoking this on the way home. You know, you hear that a few hundred times and it's like, you know, maybe it would be better to give these people a place to smoke and then get medicated and then walk out in a grounded way instead of like talking on a cell phone, fiddling with the radio while they're smoking a joint.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, you know, yeah, cannabis drivers are safer on average. That's a scientifically proven fact. But in the end, we did it for that reason. And
necessity.
Out of necessity,
yeah.
The mother of invention. And the sheriff didn't stop us. So that was, you know, definitely, I think he agreed in the end.
Yeah.
You know?
That's awesome.
And so the way that sparked the movement leads into the fact that we had the space, right? The space where the community could gather to medicate and, you know, network and share knowledge and, you know.
Yeah, that's big.
Which was the whole intention of the name, right? The Collective Conscious Apothecary.
Hell yeah.
Right? To, you know, bring all of us together. And so another thing we realized quickly was that in being the entrance and the gateway to the Emerald Triangle, everybody had flowers. except for, you know, a very small, you know, percentage of people who weren't in the industry or weren't in the game. But not very few people had really good concentrate.
Truth.
And so we found that market was really, you know, it got people excited in a way. And that's still true today. I think that that's one of the things that about this movement that I think is really interesting, because people get excited about their wine. You know, they get excited about their beer. I've seen them lined up, 300 people lined up in front of the Russian River Brewing Company when they release their beer. You know, they get stoked, but not the way people get stoked about their hash.
It's a good point.
There's just something about the way that, because there's, you know what it is? I believe it's the energy from a really good hash usually comes from a grower who's put a lot of positive focus on that.
Without a doubt.
You know, and so there's just
I think also the community extra loves it on top of that. So there's extra appreciation on top of the extra love being put into it. Everyone's getting elevated.
There's this very direct translation of energy that's, I think, it's clouded with alcohol. It gets clouded with tobacco. But with cannabis, it's like boom, you know, it's like right there.
I can see that.
And so that's what, you know, that's when I think that was the point where it was clear that this is bigger than us. Like this is big, you know?
Oh yeah.
And so at that point, you know, we started carrying more concentrates. We teamed up with Matt Rise in the beginning.
Fuck yeah.
You know, we helped Matt to establish his brand and to, you know, we were his most fervent supporters, you know, in the beginning.
Sounds like a win-win.
And, you know, and what that did is it gave us a certain level of attraction for other hash makers and the community at large.
Yeah.
Not only because we were carrying Matt, but because we were carrying a variety of everyone in the game that was relevant.
And because of your name and because of your like community gathering.
Well, as it grew, then that kind of, you know, but in the beginning,
yeah,
that's what drew everyone in, right? So
makes sense.
You know, like Frenchie Cannoli arriving when he was fresh off the boat.
Fuck yeah.
You know, and walking through the doors and him joining our scene and giving seminars and, you know,
that's so sick.
Like, you know, so it's like all of, you know, everybody that was a part of that scene. Subcool, we're one of his biggest supporters. We're, you know, there's a whole bunch of people that came out of that scene, no less than 20 or 30 hash makers, all of whom are prominent in the game now. You all know who you are. Shout out
Hell yeah.
to every one of you guys, man. CCA will live forever.
Fuck yeah.
Promise you. We got some big plans coming up, and we'll be announcing soon.
Hell yeah.
Look for it.
I love it. Stay tuned. You heard it here first. That's fucking heady as fuck. CCA is literally like a place of lore. I've never been there, but I've heard hella stories from hella people I respect. And I'm like, all right, I get it.
Yeah, we were, you know, one interesting fact. We put the first $100 hash, $100 gram of hash on the shelf in the state of California.
When?
See if I can pinpoint the exact time in time.
Year, maybe?
Some of you guys might remember, because it's, you know, I remember Matt shows up with it, you know, and he says, this one's $100. We hadn't even really come close to that yet. We were kind of creeping towards it, you know, but at that point I'm like, you know, they're going to show up with pitchforks and torches. You know that, right? And, you know, and so we do it. We put it on the shelf and the fucking thing sells out in 24 hours.
I believe it. What year?
Yeah, so I think that was 2015. No, I'm sorry. What am I saying? Like 2011, 2012.
Love it.
Really early on.
Yeah.
You know,
what was it? It was cold water hash or hash rosin?
It was a water hash.
We fucking love it, but it was just like so good.
It was some OG or something Matt liked that everybody thought was great. You know?
And dabbed great.
Yeah, it was clean. You know, it was, for sure, it was good. You know,
2011. That's crazy.
Yeah, and well, that was the beginning. You know, that was when the whole thing. That's what I'm saying. You know, we're very much in conjunction with the birth of the whole thing. You know, and
I love it.
It was really really awesome to be a part of and to watch happen.
Yeah, thank you for helping pave the way, because I just only smoke hash now. It's definitely a heady situation.
No question, yeah. The hash rules the world.
Hash rules everything around me for sure.
That's right.
Up, high five time. All right, time for a 0.5. and we're gonna call it a rippity rap.
So Amsterdam University was very legit.
Yeah, it was legit. It was
super legit.
I went there for a few things, and I got my card right around the corner from there.
So Richard Lee, do you remember who he was?
Def.
So he's the founder of Amsterdam University, right?
For sure.
He was a very important figure in the movement for a variety of reasons, but Amsterdam was one of his biggest achievements for sure. I took a dispensary class there before I opened CCA.
That's sick.
And it was everything I needed to have the confidence to do that. You know?
I fucking love that. Wow, Sour Kush looking fucking majestic, like an iceberg, a Terpberg. Wow, Terpberg that looks like it needs to be like have a snowboarder like sliding down it, possibly like grinding on a rail even. I don't know how, but in my mind it's happening already.
Yes, the microscope shots don't lie, do they?
No, they don't at all. All right, you ready to get terped out?
I think so.
Let's do it. Temping down time.
Game on.
Oh, I'll scoop and then I'll hand it over to you.
All right, game on again.
Game on again. Remix. 650 and dropping. Actually, it was 660 and dropping. I had to center it more.
Here we go.
Centering your shit is important. Oh, he's getting after it. Wow. Perfect situation over there. Oh, it's okay. Worst things have happened. Don't worry. No, you got... Oh, wow. That's a warrior move. Just put it on the parchment. Perfect. 590, here I go. Still looked like a decent temp, though.
There's tasting that.
This low feeding tech, magical.
That'll clear your sinus. Won't it? Yeah, I love the way this holds the heat.
Oh my god, yeah, the arrestor is probably my favorite nail for heat retention. Just be careful of that sticky glob, but it's all good. Worst things have happened. Just don't want you to sticky yourself. Okay.
Yeah, don't actually put your heart in that.
I've done it before. Oh man, this is so fire, bro. It's so potent too. I can already feel like vice gripping my fucking face.
Yeah, it's not a joke.
It's hard to say because I meant to go in 590, but like I talked a little, so it was probably like 580 the time I got in. It was kind of perfect.
I had it right at 588. I think it was pretty perfect.
I don't think so. Like, still a little bit of liquid left, but mostly perfect. Thank you. Damn, that's like a sour fucking sour kush. That's what that is.
A whole lot of sour kush.
Ooh.
A whole lot of that sour diesel. It's like a big old boatload.
I fuck with it. Super heavy. Wow, I love this poll situation prediction. Thank you, people.
60-40.
I'm getting higher by like the moment, too. The sour kush is creeping on me.
Yeah, it'll hang out for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was delicious.
I'm so fucking zoodle boodled. Can you share a crazy cannabis story from your past?
Woo, yes.
Anyone?
Yeah. Just had the mind eraser, you know? I gotta let that settle in for a minute.
Oh, I feel
I'm
that.
sure a good story will emerge.
Any suggestions from the audience? I know you all got
Audience suggestions. Don't worry.
you got ways to lead this conversation. First hash experience. First strain you grew. Both good suggestions.
First strain and Northern Lights number 5 times Haze, Northern Lights number 5 times Skunk,
Whoa.
which was kind of pollinated together, so it was kind of both. By this someone. Anyway, that was the first strain I grew, and to this day is one of the best strains I ever grew.
Wow.
It was really what's special, that strain. And first hash experience was really cool. Actually, it was as a freshman in college at the dorm. My neighbors were foreign exchange students from Europe. One guy was from Spain, another guy was from France, and they used to have bricks of hash shipped into the dorm
Oh, yeah.
back in the day.
course.
This is more than 20 years ago, so it's not too incriminating. And I'm sure their kids are still doing it today. So, you know, but that was the first time I ever tried hash, and it was actually really great hash from Paris. It was Moroccan and Lebanese at times, blonde Lebanese, some classic Moroccans during that time. Some really, I mean, my first hash experience was actually pretty high. I'll never forget the first time we got that hash in the mail. Nobody went to class for over a week. We all just sat around, just, you know, getting high because it was great. It was so enjoyable playing chess, you know, you know, doing freshman and college shit, you know.
I love that vibe.
Yeah, the good old, you know.
Yeah.
It's a great gig, you know.
Fuck yeah.
College is a great gig, you guys. Don't give it up easily.
Yeah, don't forget.
Crazy stories, I'd say outside of anything too crazy, I'd say, okay, here's one.
Crazy cannabis story from your past.
I've got a permit application for a cultivation and processing out in Lake County that's been in the queue now for 3 years and 8 months.
Wow.
Right? I mean, I could sit here and tell you the story, but I mean, that's crazy.
That's pretty long.
Don't you guys think that's crazy? Nearly 4 years.
I mean, in California, it sounds pretty standard, but it is absolutely crazy.
We're on the long end of this. You know, most people are getting in there a little faster, I think, but we'll take it. I mean, better late than never. We'll see, you know, what comes of it, and that's kind of crazy. Here's a crazy one: the 2015 Chalice.
Hell yeah, free range.
Right? Somebody shows up the week before the event. It's like, you know, we got to enter. I'm like, I don't have any. You know, all I have is this dry run of KC36, right? It's like, you know, maybe a week fresh, but it's, you know, we end up taking second place. It's not even fresh frozen.
Wow.
Right?
What, it was like squished flower rosin?
No, it was just harvested.
Flour?
And lightly dried and then run.
Wow.
You know, as a full melt.
As melt.
That was pretty unexpected.
That is unexpected.
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes the stars align when, you know, hard work and luck come together.
Lightly dried, it can be really killer too.
That's good to know.
Yeah, in reality. It doesn't lose that much if it's kept right.
Thank you for tuning in to Terp Talk. Join us on twitch.tv/invest in Headies on Tuesdays for our live stream, and catch weekly videos on YouTube /invest in Headies. We couldn't have done it without our special guest, John from Higher Grounds.
Thanks for having me, Bill.
Fuck yeah.
Been a pleasure.
Same. I am super lit and I had a hell of fun.
Yeah, likewise.
Where can everyone find you? And is there anything that you want to shout out?
At Higher Ground Canna, CANNA.
At Higher Ground Canna.
Yes,
That's
24 seed release is now live. We've got some special things planned for January.
Fuck yeah.
So a couple strains that are going to be dropping haven't been announced yet. And above all, just really excited about, you know, this year in particular, because this is the first year that we're making our catalog largely available and making it available year round. So, you know, for many years we kind of cut our teeth by making small drops, you know, from time to time. Mm-hmm. And, you know, going from that to being a full, you know, being a more focused seed provider.
Backyard Boys are excited to see your seed drop. Thank
you. Yeah, I really think that we are going to really see some really great new things out there. More and more farmers are getting their hands on these around the world, and I think it's going to be really exciting.
Hell yeah. People are saying, thank you, John. John, you're a legend. Thanks for spreading the word. Thanks for being on live. And you were saying you're going from doing smaller drops to having seeds available all of next year.
Oh, you know, seeds are available year round on our website. You can link it through our IG at highergroundcanna.com.
That is super good to know. But keep in mind, Seeds are available all year, but there will still be limited drops of limited releases.
Well, that's always true.
I know.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure people know that even though you think you can get them all year, and you can, keep your eyes peeled, because there's going to be super fire heat that won't last long throughout the year. And I believe you can find out about it on the IG page as well as highergroundcanna.com.
Exactly. A lot of what we do are small batch boutique seed drops. So they are small batch, and they do go, and sometimes they may come back, but sometimes it takes a while. So
Hell yeah.
I'd say, you know, when you see something, it's wise to jump on it.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to really drive home. Even though he's moving away from his original model, it still is all small batch boutique Heady Betty spaghetti situations. Are we out of here? Good night, people.
Good night, everybody.